Hello, and welcome to the Achieve Optimum Health Summit, where we explore how to prevent and reverse chronic illness. I'm Angelina Kardash, your summit host. I have a lovely couple with me today, Anna-Marie and Brian Clement. Brian Clement has spearheaded the international progressive health movement for more than 30 years. He's the director of the Hippocrates Health Institute in West Palm Beach, Florida. And Brian Clement has written over 20 books focused on health, spirituality, and natural healing. He is also a devoted husband and a caring father of four, who, along with his wife, Anna-Marie Clement, she co-directs the Hippocrates Health Institute. And for more than 40 years, Anna-Marie has been an international leader in the progressive health movement. Prior to coming to the United States to join Hippocrates, she was a director of the Sweden's Health Center in Stockholm for Health Recovery. And Anna-Marie is the author of the several books on the application of natural health methods in family and children's care. And Anna speaks 7 languages and lectures extensively around the globe. Welcome, Anna and Brian. You both have quite an impressive biographies, and I'm so excited to host you here today. I'm a huge fan of yours, and I absolutely love your work.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's exhausting listening to all this stuff we're doing.
Hey, we live in the now.
Yeah.
What are we doing now?
This year, it's my 50th year of doing this work. And Anna, how many?
45.
45.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
So I know that both of you take great pride and pleasure in educating audience on wellness and a healthy lifestyle. So that's why I'm so excited to get your perspective on the lifestyle medicine concepts and the strategies for success. So tell us a little bit about your background and how you got into the field of lifestyle medicine and natural care. And tell us about the Hippocrates Institute and its mission.
Well, I started in Sweden. I got into plant-based diet at 15, really didn't know what it meant, but liked it, felt better physically too, and because I love sports, and it was, you know, if you've seen the movie, the documentary Game Changer, you see, I mean, it really helps. Every athlete should want to be on this diet. Anyway, so I wanted to study with people that was in this field. And I looked around all over in Sweden and found a lady that was the closest one. And she had so much experience with inflammatory problems. I wanted to learn with her. So, and I stayed many, many years with her. She was amazing. She had healed her own rheumatoid arthritis. And then I wanted to study with Ann Vigmor. So when she came, so Ann Vigmor came from Lithuania, and she had, her story was that she was sickly most of her life. And a lot of traumas happened, and she ended up with stage 4 colon cancer. So when she came to Stockholm, 1976, to speak the first time, I was like, I got to hear her story. What did she do? And she's talking about live food and sprouts and wheatgrass and, of course, banana ice cream, which was amazing. So I wanted to study more, and I thought one day I'll go over to Boston, because she was then in Boston. And the Institute, you know, flourished with people from all over the world. And I thought, I'll go over there and study. And I met Brian, and I never made it back.
That was it.
That was it.
I fell in love immediately with it.
Yeah. So, you know, our 4 kids are brought up this way. We have 8 grandkids. And, you know, it's an amazing thing to see kids brought up this way and how healthy they are. And, you know, we were not brought up this way, but normal Swedish diet. But you know, I was lucky I changed. I got rid of all the dairy products. That was my first thing, dairy products. I mean, you love cheese, you love yogurt, kefir, and you love all that. And I said, that's it. I guess it's for a calf. It's not for humans. So as soon as I heard that, it just made sense. And that was and then one thing after the other just left. So I read books about fish and books about, you know, rotten meat. And I'm like, I've been eating rotten meat? Who thought that, you know? So it's been a learning experience. And the Institute now, we moved from Boston 33 years ago. And it's been here in Florida. I mean, it's like, how much better can it be? And we have an amazing team here that's looking after you while you're here, and tons of therapists, tons of therapies, the best food in the world, you know. And so I heard you studying our program, our online program. Congratulations. Right.
Yeah, so a half a century ago, I found myself in a body that was 120 pounds larger, smoking cigarettes, 3 packs a day, stoned on dope, grass every day, and a mess. And although I was very young, I was in my late teens, early 20s, I realized that something had to change. Didn't know what that meant, but was fortunate, found an older woman in her 70s that mentored me and told me to get on a plant-based diet, to exercise, and then eventually she said, you should work in this field. And I was blessed because in those days, some of the greats were alive. You couldn't walk into a university, and sadly, other than one we helped to create in Europe, you can't do that today here either. So the Paul Braggs and Bernard Jensens, and you know, all of these people were people I attended courses with and classes and seminars. And eventually in 1975, after losing the weight and being completely committed from 1970 as a plant-based eater, went to visit Ann Wigmore, the founder of Hippocrates, who, as Anna pointed out, reversed after the Harvard doctors gave her 90 days to live in 1952, reversed stage 4 colon cancer. And she asked me to work. So in 1975, I moved from Oregon, where I was living at that point, and back to Boston. And in 1980, after living in Europe, they sent me to Europe pretty rapidly, where I lived for 3 years. Ran centers in Denmark, helped to develop centers in Switzerland, taught all over the continent. She asked me to direct in 1980. And Anna-Marie and I pretty much picked up the torch. As we're talking, the Institute's filled. There are people here from 21 countries now. So we're best known for people coming who have serious diseases or serious needs to be healthy. So everyone is serious that comes here. This isn't a place you just come if you don't want truth. And we've seen thousands of people reverse major diseases. And the half that come here that are healthy today, we just don't age the way the rest of the population does. Because we're not supposed to. We're not supposed to be doing. We're not supposed to have diabetic type 2 condition because it's not a disease. We're not supposed to be having heart attacks. We're not supposed to be having cancer. And we're not supposed to be sad and decrepit as we get to be 50, 60, and 70. I mean, Anna-Marie and I are well in our age now. We are like most 20 and 30-year-olds. We enjoy life. We never stop. We travel the globe and speak. And we just had our newest book come out 5 days ago called Menopause, where we point out where men get into menopause starting at 25. And you ladies better listen, because why you have grumpy old men at 30 is they are sexually impotent and emotionally impotent. And our newest book, I'm just editing before I came in here, is the first weight loss book that we wrote. And a big part of it is about the psychology of weight loss. And then the Hippocrates program. We have a very advanced weight loss academy here, fitness academy, where the average drop in 21 days of weight is 30 pounds.
Yeah.
And so we're having fun here. We're enjoying ourselves.
Yes.
It's impressive. It's just impressive. And I'm a living proof of that. I lost 50 pounds within 2 months on that diet.
Wow.
Congratulations. You look great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So you asked about lifestyle medicine. Ann Wigmore created that. She was the woman who created the word lifestyle medicine and pioneered it, because she had insight. Now, she wasn't a doctor and she wasn't a scientist, but after healing cancer, when the top scientist in America at Harvard told her she was going to die, she realized what was lacking then, and sadly still today, is your responsibility to be healthy. It's not the doctor that makes you healthy, or the Hippocrates that makes you healthy. We give you guidance and support and love and massive experience and a facility that's like the future hospital. This is a resort setting, and we have an energy medicine department. We have an IV department. We have a psychotherapy department. We grow our own food here. And the truth of the matter is, quite simply, you need to learn how to do this so you can go home and continue it. Right. Me knowing doesn't help you eventually.
Absolutely. So tell us about the Hippocrates diet and its foundational principle. What is the science behind it? And can this diet really reverse chronic conditions and increase longevity?
Yes. When we began in 1956 and started to see, back then I'd say 9 out of 10 people that came were told they were going to die. Because in the 1950s and 60s and even 70s, nobody would have ever thought of coming unless they had some really grim news. We saw people get well, and we knew it was a plant-based, organic, living diet, but we weren't sure of how it worked. We used to think it was Laetrile in the wheatgrass, which is one of the many things we know now. In the 1980s, the National Institute of Health started to realize that the younger people were not going to go down the same road that their parents and grandparents did. They weren't going to take drugs for everything. They were looking for more. So they started to study something that was by chance discovered in 1948 called phytochemicals. And this is an amazing story because plants were on this earth hundreds of millions of years before you and I. In your form, my form, we may have been here about 10,000 years, 11,000 years, but plants hundreds of millions. Now, they created natural preserving chemistry. For the lack of a better way to say it, pesticides, not bad ones, but natural pesticides, so that the bugs never ate that species of plant or the animals. And now we found out in the 80s that these natural preserving chemicals in plants worked as medicines, powerful, powerful medicines in people. So by the 1980s, 90s, we recognized that why thousands of people healed. By the way, we've had more people heal disease here than any institute in the history of medicine and healthcare, not just natural medicine. After medicine fails, people come here and we watch them get well. And again, there's an ever increasing group of people that come here to prevent aging, prevent disease. That's nice to see. Bring their children here. And these phytochemicals, for instance, in wheatgrass, we know there's anti-cancer, antiviral, antibacterial. In broccoli sprouts, we know that it kills cancer. There's dozens of studies on this. In sunflower green sprouts, which we brought to the world, there's antimicrobial, anti-mutagenic disease. And that's part of the story. The other part of the story, we think the most important thing to work with people on is their attitude. And so everyone comes here, gets psychotherapy. And once we find out what's blocking you from being happy, then the real healing begins. Our energy medicine department, we have $2 million worth of state-of-the-art equipment because our body's electric. It's not biochemistry first, it's literally electric. And these, in an easy, simple way to describe it, have discovered what disorder, what frequency disorder a disease has, and has corrective frequencies to help abolish the disorder.
You know, our guests get so much nourishment in one day, probably more than they ever had in a week, that they're so satisfied, they're not hungry. And they come one after the other and say, I can't believe it. I don't need my coffee, I don't need my alcohol, I don't need my cigarettes.
This green drink is an example I'm drinking. Yeah. Has the protein in it the average Western person receives in 3 days.
Yeah. You know, so people are looking at all the wrong places because they don't know. And I think it's a jungle out there to know what to do. Because I hear people at the gym and they're like, oh, maybe should I make a fruit juice? Should I make a smoothie? Or, you know, what?
Ketogenic, paleo, this and that.
Yeah, it's like blood type, this, that, what's going on?
We created the lifestyle medicine. We've been chugging away for 65 years. And we have the data and statistics and proof to show it. Because people want easy, they want moderate rather than right. And it's time that humanity wake up. If we don't get on the right track, we're not only killing ourselves and our family, we're killing the earth that we live on.
Absolutely. And can you please tell me about the clinical research that could support these claims? I mean, you've talked a lot about the, this lifestyle and diet really have been proven to be cancer preventive. So do you have any clinical research?
Oh, sure. What you have to understand is that I go out and I speak at medical conferences quite often. And so I was always under attack. Give me the research, give me the research. And so I accumulated that. I spent 4 years and I wrote a series of academic books called Food is Medicine. Now, every one of my books, I reference science on it. But this is specifically for what I jokingly call the eggheads, the academics who won't make a move unless there's research. And that's why, sadly, medicine's in trouble today, because they don't do anything instinctually. And in there, we prove all of the data, with all of the data, that, by the way, everything we're doing here and everything we say has not been only proven, but has shown to be effective. I'll give you an example. I was speaking at Harvard about 5 years ago. And there was a very boisterous medical doctor in the front that started to challenge the research that I was putting up on the board. And I listened and I waited, and finally he was challenging a study out of Harvard. And I said to him, Doctor, I said, what I'd strongly advise is that you stand up and leave your desk, because the study I just quoted that you're denouncing was done on the same floor of Harvard that you work at. And I said, I know you have a lot of opinions on things you know nothing about, but if you want to know about this so you have the right opinion, go down and visit your colleague, who again is probably 5 minutes or 3 minutes from your office. That's the problem. There's a sense of arrogance. And I can't blame the doctors. I'm not angry at them. They've been trained that medicine cures everything, and it doesn't. Now, there's a place and a time for medicine, but it's not the only show. It's not the only thing. And the prolonged use of medicine has made it so the number 3 killer in most of the developed world, cancer 1, heart disease 2, is medical mistakes. So listen to what I'm telling you. So the doctors, I have to forgive them, have never been trained about food and lifestyle and attitude. As a matter of fact, in their arrogance and fear, I think it's fear more than arrogance, they denounce it because nobody ever told them that the mind's more powerful than the drug they're given. Nobody ever told them that food, even though they say their hero is Hippocrates, who said, let food be thy medicine, they don't think food is as important as drugs. And this is the sad area. And I think we need to get on together, get to a round table and have a conversation. Not say he's right, she's wrong, he's right. That's baloney. It's not time to battle, it's time to work together. We are experts in lifestyle and what that can do. Let them be experts in when we need the medical intervention. Let the chiropractor, let the psychologist get involved. That's what we do at Hippocrates.
Yeah, let's tell you about the Lifestyle University in Lithuania, which is Ann Wigmore's home country. And it's between Harvard and Loma Linda and Yale and Hippocrates.
We created the curriculum.
Colin Campbell, Dr. Colin Campbell.
We couldn't do it in America. We had to go to Europe.
Yeah, and it's just amazing. You can actually get a master's in lifestyle medicine.
Or a doctorate degree.
Yeah.
So many doctors now, and you can do a lot of this online.
It's amazing.
And many non-doctors. So nurses are doing this and physical therapists. You can have a master's in lifestyle medicine or a doctorate. So our son, who's in medical school in Sweden now, plans being an MD lifestyle medicine doctor too. LMD.
Yeah.
Do you have any programs for healthcare professionals?
Oh, we do. So a couple of times a year, we actually have doctor days, and we invite, they've been here from 8 countries, as far away as Japan to West Palm, and we give them a crash course on what we've learned in the last 6.5 decades. And it's been wonderful because it opens the eyes of these people. We are people who are, we encompass everyone. We're not against anyone, we're for everyone. And so we want people to know this. We don't want to say that we're special, we're not. What we're doing is very basic things here. Yes. And the basic things are the most powerful things.
And we have our program now that's even in coaching, and a lot of professionals come in for that.
Yeah, so what you're doing now online, when your little one grows up, you'll come out here and take the Hippocrates Life Mastery Program.
Right.
And then you can go, we have partnered with the top coaching group in the world out of England, and you can go as far as a PhD in that. So you could be Hippocrates coach and PhD.
Yeah.
That's impressive. Yeah. Let's talk a little bit more about this diet. So what is the prevalent on this diet? I mean, what do you typically eat?
So we eat a lot of food that is planted here. That means sprouts, like sunflower sprouts, pea sprouts, buckwheat sprouts, and of course,
broccoli, onion, garlic,
onion, mung bean sprouts, lentil sprouts, you name it.
Usually 17 are out on the table as they are now.
It's a big part of our, and then we have all kinds of lettuces from the garden. We have the arugula, we have spinach, you know.
And beautiful gourmet enzyme-rich food, loaves and croquettes, and we make raw pizzas, and people love it. Desserts. Nobody suffers eating this. They suffer when they don't eat this. That's the problem. And it takes time, just like you. I mean, you were on an American diet like we all were. Anna, a Swedish diet. You at one time a Russian diet. And that's the worst is Russian and Swedish.
Yes.
American's bad, but Russian and Swedish beat us. And you know, it takes a while to adjust, but when your body from the first minute is crying out and saying, thank you. It's your head that would rather have ice cream. It's your head that would rather have a hot dog. But believe me, that's why psychology is so significant.
And the taste bud adjusts very quickly. I mean,
Yes. Oh, very quickly.
Yes, they do. By third week, people love it here. They love it.
Yes. So is it safe to feed this diet children? And if yes, do we need to supplement them as well?
Well, it's what you have to understand is a plant-based diet is where all proteins, all vitamins, all minerals, all essential fats, all hormones, all oxygen, all phytochemicals and enzymes come from. Now, anything other than this, I'm worried about supplementing. The only one that we have to supplement, and this is, I'm going to be as concise as I can, is a living form of B12. So we create a line of supplements called Life Give supplements. They're all completely organic, completely alive and unprocessed. The B12 there, unlike 90% of the B12 is made in a chemical laboratory, is actually going to go right into the cell. Over evolution, we've lost part of our large intestine. That we used to have a pocket, an elongated pocket at the bottom that cultured the plants that we ate, would actually create the B12, because B12 is not a traditional B vitamin, it's literally a bacteria. Now with that pocket gone in everyone, not vegans, but everyone, your body has no way to produce that. So supplemental B12, I'm on my 33rd year of studying B12 deficiencies. Meat, fish, cheese eaters, chicken eaters, turkey eaters have an 8% higher incidence of B12 deficiency than vegans, and vegans have a higher than raw vegans. So you and I, who eat much or most of our diet are all raw, literally have far less. We have about a 22% less B12, but we still suggest B12. You, I'm sure, as a mother, breastfed your child, so that the child basically gets B12 from the mother. They don't need supplements. The other thing that you may want to consider is most of us live in areas where we don't get enough sun. We're not outside. Now remember this, a century ago, everyone was outside. Nobody worked in an office like you and I. I mean, no, I shouldn't say nobody, but very few people. They were farmers. They were out, they were working, building things. We went from that to most of us never being outside. And so supplementing with the B12 we make is literally made out of a vine. And I've used vitamin D. I've used all forms of vitamin D that were supposedly raw and good. This one immediately puts the B12 up to normal ranges. And it's the strongest we found.
Just about everybody's low, because it's a part of our blood testing. And oh my gosh, just about everybody is dangerously low. you know.
But if you're a meat eater like I used to be, I didn't ever eat a vegetable. It was all meat. My D vitamins, I never tested them when I was a kid. Must have been horrific. Because where do you get out of a cooked meat or egg? You don't get any of that.
What other supplements do you recommend taking for overall health, anti-aging, and disease prevention?
So we take enzymes, digestive enzymes, and
We take that for anti-aging as well as digestion.
Yes, yes, and that's great. And of course, we take all forms of algae. There's blue-green algae, green algae like chlorella. What a great extra nourishment that is. We take our vitamin D, our B12. We take flower pollen. Flower pollen is great for men and women because it actually helps to increase your testosterone. So it's great for all of us, as testosterone is a big part building your
And
blood,
women need
your
testosterone
bones.
for
The
libido
bones.
and bones.
And bones.
Yeah.
So you know, but we need resistant training. If we wanted, you know, not get osteopenia, osteoporosis, we need to train.
Anna-Marie and I lift heavy weights 3 days a week for about 3 hours.
Yeah, I listen to your lectures and you always talk about the weight training. So what is it behind it? So what is the science behind it? Why would
I mean, it's amazing. I mean, in our newest book, Menopause, we talk about if men and women contain muscles till you're older, your brain, your heart, and your libido work. So the whole concept, we get older, we can't get muscles is wrong. We stop lifting weight, we don't have muscles. You know, number two, if you look at weightlifting, every single sexy person you've ever seen that you and I are attracted to weightlift. You don't look healthy without muscle. It's that simple. If you look at bone density, I don't care if you eat like I'm telling you to eat, you can still get osteoporosis. And petite women like you and Anna Maria are the most prone. You know who doesn't get osteoporosis? Overweight, obese women. They end up with heart attack, strokes, and cancer. But by the way, they're carrying weight all the time. So weight is, I've worked with 22,000 people, mostly women with osteo. Nobody gets well without weightlifting.
But it can be reversed. That's a great thing, you know.
It can be.
And there's no pill in the world that's going to do what exercise.
And calcium isn't the deficient. I mean, I hardly find people with calcium deficiency. It's the supplements could be helpful are silica and biotin, a protein, and strontium, a mineral. They're the three supplements. If you're drinking green juice and eating salads, you get all the calcium you need.
You've mentioned algae. Can you a little bit explore more on that? Why algae is so important for our health?
So what a great source of nourishment. I mean, this is from the freshwater lake. We also use ocean algae like the kelp and dulse and so on. But algae, the blue-green algae that we use actually have the same fat as your brain. I mean, your brain is 60% fat. And it's
identical.
It's identical. It's fantastic. So you can elaborate more.
You have to understand that algae was the original life form. So the planet Earth, let's all think about this for a minute, was just surrounded by water. And that water was inert. It was dead. There was nothing in it. And we believe now in science that vitamin C and nitrogen got married. They kissed. And they created this single cell life form called blue-green algae. And that life form created oxygen on this earth. It's the origins of life. So it's your greatest ancestor, microscopic. Now, the second life form that was created is called sea algae. Now, you may think of that as kelp and dulse and nori, wakame, ziki, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Then when land came, and the very first land that came on the planet is Australia. And the land brought the sand from the bottom of the ocean, and grasses evolved out of the algae. And then think of this. These are your brothers and sisters. Your father, let's start your father, your mother, your brother or sister. And they became redwood trees, and they became you, and they became dogs, and they became sheep. And it's unbelievable when you think of it. So why Anna and I take 5 algae every day, the highest protein food in the world, the highest life form in the world, the highest nutrient. We don't even know all the nutrients. Both Anna-Marie and I are doctors of nutrition. We have PhDs in nutrition. And the one thing I'll tell you, I've been doing this a long time. We learn all of the time new things.
Oh, yeah.
And there's so much in that we haven't discovered yet, but just take it and you're going to get it.
Yes. You know, and something I tell women, you got to take care of your thyroid, because that needs selenium and zinc and iodine from seaweeds. And it's really important, because it's like an epidemic now of iodine, of thyroid problem, because people are carrying their cell phone right here.
70% of women have thyroid problems. Some do not know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Diet,
So
lifestyle.
go ahead.
Yeah, it's diet, it's lifestyle. It's a lack of iodine, because the soil doesn't have enough of
Selenium.
iodine. Yeah, it's a lack of selenium.
And most important, your generation, it's electronics.
Yeah.
So it went from one generation, a generation's 25 years. And from 25 years ago to now, from 20% to 70%. Men were almost non-existent. We're at 20% now. It's not going to stop.
No.
And we've got to protect ourselves from the craziness like 5G, not put cell phones at our neck and stand in front of computers all day long without protection.
Right.
Anna-Maria worked with the Russians
Yeah.
and the Germans. We put this together,
The pulse.
high pulse.
Mhm.
You have to be out of your nine not to be protecting yourself at this time. I mean,
This is really important, and it's helping people left and right.
you may want to look at the film, if they haven't taken it down yet, out of England, called 5G Apocalypse.
Yeah. It's but you know, we're all bombarded with the radiation, and even from Fukushima it's coming. You know, it's here. So what do? We need to really eat a well-balanced diet, exercise, sleep well.
Infrared saunas.
Infrared sauna is a lifesaver.
When we were brought to Russia after Chernobyl, we were actually working with some people who had been at Chernobyl.
Yes.
And what works most effectively is copious amounts of algae. Chlorella is a good one, green algae, and then taking infrared saunas. And it takes far more radiation out of the body than anything else, than chelation therapy, than anything else. Since Fukushima, we now know that all of the Hawaiian Islands have at least 7,000 times more radiation, and it's still leaking, by the way, than they did before. The whole Earth is loaded with this. And the more cell phone, the more computer, the more cell towers, the more 5G that we have, the worse this is going to become. We're already seeing universal conducting disease, where some of the people we treat don't have conventional disorders. They're sensitive to electromagnetic frequencies.
Yes. More and more people come here, and of course we're a cell phone free place, but you know, a lot of people think that putting it on airplane mode is enough. I say no, shut it off. That's the only way that it's not hurting anybody.
We literally had a physicist come and protect the entire 60 acres we have here. So even if you're using a computer or cell phone, it's pretty much neutered or neutralized.
Yeah.
You guys jumped ahead and you answered my question that I have too about the radiation and MFA. So that's awesome. So can you elaborate on the science behind the infrared sauna? And can you also elaborate on this device that you're wearing, and I mean, where we can find it and what is that?
Well, we were lucky years ago, by chance, we discovered a company on the West Coast that literally realized that even saunas give you electromagnetic currents. So they pioneered the research and got a no EMF, no electromagnetic field. And they're called Clear Light, and they're distributed by Jacuzzi. So here we have 15 saunas on the property, all are Clear Light. Now, let's talk about what we did today at the LA Fitness sauna versus what we do at home and on the property.
Yeah.
Normal Scandinavian saunas obviously are better than not, but they heat the body from the outside in. An infrared sauna heats the cell from the inside out. So you get 87% more heavy metals and chemicals from an infrared sauna than you would from a normal Scandinavian sauna. And so that's the real thing. The technology is, it's a wave that mimics photons from the sun. And it doesn't hurt you. On the other hand, like sunlight can help you relax. It does the same, it relaxes the cell and releases the toxins, the poisons in it. In our home sauna, we kept both. We have the normal element from Scandinavians, we have the other. So, and I do 800 sit-ups in the sauna when I go in there. And so I really want to get hot quick because I don't have a lot of time.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the blood testing. What blood tests do you recommend to follow to keep us informed on the state of our health?
So we do a normal CBC and chemistry, but there is a special test called SpectraCell that is a nutrition deficiency test. And boy, that sometimes gives us answers because that actually opens the white blood cells up to see what did it absorb. And that gives us answers that we couldn't have guessed many times.
Well, what you have to know is that even though we do a conventional CBC, and what a normal doctor would do, we do much more elaborate. So we look at inflammatory markers, we look at heart markers, we look at diabetic markers, and these can predict, not only when you have a problem, predict you may have a problem. But they're secondary to the scans we do. Now, here in America, we can only call these biofeedback scans. But in civilized countries in Europe, they're considered much more than that. So we do CyberScan as an example. We do BioWell. And from the combination of the extensive, more elaborate blood test that's interpreted by conscious people. I mean, you could have a blood test, an unconscious person isn't going to pick up things. We have these, like a CyberScan, in less than a minute, we look at 100,000 parameters. Look at it.
It's a frequency. You just put your fingertips on it, you know, there's no blood involved.
And that combination, I just pray someday that the healthcare system really becomes the healthcare system, not the disease management system, and that they're forced to look at these things, because we can determine so much more from this. And I think it's really important to look at, but you know, looking at, for instance, a blood test and the doctor saying good, bad, or indifferent isn't enough. You have to be insightful enough and experienced enough to say, even though things look normal now, look at these trends. Look at the person may be on their way to a heart problem. For instance, you have low cholesterol. That may be that you're sick. Not always, but it may be that you're sick. So then you go to the next step. But the poor doctors in our cultures worldwide are so exhausted and so busy, they just have you in for 2 minutes and say everything's okay and out you go. Just yesterday, I spoke to a woman who had cancer and literally had a tumor protruding that was the size of a small battery. And they actually said to her, you don't have cancer. And went to the, thank God, went to the right medical doctor.
She did a mammogram and he didn't show anything.
Didn't show it. Went to the right doctor. He said, well, you know, you better check that again.
Yeah.
And found that she had very aggressive cancer. And I'm not saying the entire system is bad. I just think the entire system is broken.
Well, it's common sense too.
I mean, if you go to a hospital, the poor doctors and nurses are so tired.
Yeah.
They're so, and they're worrying about liability and what to do and what medicine to give so that nobody can come back and say, rather than treating the person. When I was a boy, it was much different. Doctors were really members of our family that we loved and respected. And that's what we should have. You're not only the victim, the poor doctor and nurse is a victim in that system.
Can you talk a little bit about the anemia? I mean, being anemic, a lot of people experience that. So what is the root cause of that, and how we can prevent, how we can treat anemia?
Yeah, so anemia often has to do with heavy metal poisoning, chemicals like mercury, arsenic, lead, you name it. But you know, people think that if I'm eating meat or fish, chicken, that I'm going to get good iron. No, that iron is killed by the process. Plus, you know, anything that's not alive, it's not going to give you the right kind of iron. So,
B12 deficiencies?
B12 deficiency is big time.
Big problem?
With, you know, even taking a plant-based iron without B12, it doesn't work. So you always have to do both.
There's a great one out of Switzerland called?
What's it called?
Floramax.
Floramax. The one that has no yeast is, of course, the one. And but we use a raw iron too, and of course our diet, the wheatgrass juice. If you're drinking 2 ounces twice a day of wheatgrass juice, you get lot of iron and all the vegetables and sprouted grains, sprouted seeds like sesame seeds, millet, sprouted. They have loads of iron. So our guests get their hemoglobin numbers up here. It's
You know what? The
not a
least
problem.
expensive iron, sprout lentils.
Yeah, lentils.
Lentils
great.
are loaded with iron. I mean, it's
Yeah.
amazing. And they're delicious sprouted lentils.
Yeah.
One of the weird things is, and it's so fraudulent, is that when you take the blood of a meat and you take it in, when the doctor's testing and saying the iron is getting better, he's actually testing blood of an animal circulating in your blood. It has nothing to do with you improving at all.
Absorbing.
You're not absorbing it. It's just, he's testing. It's just like when you take chemical supplements. Remember, over 90% of supplements on the market are chemicals. You're testing something floating that hasn't entered the cell. Matter of fact, it's dangerous. In my book, Supplements Exposed, I show you how dangerous it is to take these chemicals in. Again, 9 out of 10 are. And they don't cost any more to take the right ones, just the right ones to take.
And if especially women have heavy menstruations and they have anemia because of that, believe me, this is the lifestyle, because your period time will go from 7 to 3 to half a day for me. That's what happened to me.
I know.
It was amazing.
It was nice.
Yeah. Just go down, and the pain I endure, oh my goodness, all gone. So then the raw food diet is just helping you, because the uterus wall gets so thickened by all the junk we were eating and the dairy and the cheeses and meat and all of that you have a heavy flow, and a lot of women are anemic because of that. So that takes care of itself.
Yeah, one of the things that most people don't know, even people that are very well educated that I know, is that every single creature on Earth, except humans, and we have about 8 million or 9 million species that we share the planet with, eat a raw food diet.
Yes.
The only species that choose to cook our food is we, the sick ones, we, the mentally ill ones, we, the violent ones.
Yes.
And if you look at the
greedy
ones, if you look at the Price Pottinger studies, he said even the lifespan and how many children you're going to have and how many generations in the future is determined upon how much raw food you eat. You have to use some common sense, but most people don't have that. To think when you cook something, you've got to kill it. When you radiate it, when you chemicalize it, you've got to make a problem with it. And people don't get that. And I mean, the difference between when I was a vegetarian and then a vegan and a raw vegan, it was like I got better, and then went into the stratosphere of getting better. And it was like I wasn't even healthy before.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, and the first thing that happened to me, I've been vegan before, but it's the pain relief. I mean, within a month, the fibromyalgia, the headaches, the painful menstruations have gone. So, I mean, I'm free from any pharmaceuticals for many, many years after switching to raw vegan diet. It's just amazing.
And you lost, in 60 days, you lost 50 pounds.
50 pounds, yes.
Were you exercising?
Well, that time, not so much, but I was a bodybuilder in the past. So, I mean, I still, now I do a lot of weight training, but but it happened without the training when I just switched. It was a transition period for me.
Yeah, you get off the sugars and the carbs. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I would like to get your perspective on the future of foods.
Well, the future of food is coming in this direction.
Yes.
We do a presentation on longevity, and we look at the latest science and research. One of the most remarkable, the biggest study ever done on 100-year-old people, and even supercentenarians. Listen to this. They looked at 1,710-year-old people, and they came up with this. They were either totally or mostly plant-based eaters. Number two, they exercised abnormally compared to the average group of people. And third, they had community, friends. So finally, we're happy to see that they're not only talking about the physical, but the emotional. Two studies Anna will quote now, one on loneliness.
Oh, gosh. So they found, Brigham Young did a study about loneliness, and it came out that loneliness is as bad as smoking or being on drugs. It can take 15 years away from your life. It's sad. And they found that like half of Americans for sure are lonely, that TV is the best friend.
And then the other study was done out of the University of Chicago, where they actually showed people who were over 65,
Yeah.
if you have 4 close friends, you'll live up to 8 years longer. If you don't have friends, you'll die 8 years soon. So the futurists looked at this, and the futurists, let me tell you who they are. They're usually Nobel laureates. These are the most respected people in the world. And periodically they come together and sit at a table as we are. And they said, by 2050, we'll all be living holistically.
Yeah.
We'll be living plant-based diets. We will be totally dependent upon natural resources of energy.
Yes.
And all of this is because, not because people have all at once become conscious and evil people went away. It's because we have no other options.
With big resources will be gone.
Yeah, that's it. So hold on, don't worry. Last year, veganism went up 2,000%.
Yes.
We're on track to do it more. We're part of a major film coming out, the most important film, hopefully this year, called Eating Our Way to Extinction. And our contribution there is followed a man from Ireland who came here with stage 4 lung cancer, who completely reversed it.
Right.
But they also show you the impact that this is having, eating animals on the planet. I'm convinced that even people that 5 months ago would not have considered this, see films like The Game Changer.
Oh, yeah.
And the wisdom of The Game Changer is women, this is a fact, by the way, women make 98% of the food and health choices at home. How many of you knew that? 98%. Men are not even participating. But men, unfortunately, control the budgets of food in the world. So we're the ones that are saying, eat this. And when I was a boy, or if you were in Russia or Sweden, they taught boys, you're not a man unless you eat meat. And that is so ingrained in our minds that the wisdom of The Game Changer was they showed that real men don't eat meat. And that if you want more erections, you eat less meat. And if you want to be the strongest guy in the world, you want to turn a car over.
Yes.
And so I saw people that 5 months ago didn't believe a word I said changing.
Oh, yeah.
And you're going to see a lot more of this. You're going to see, we finally realize that you don't beat them at their game unless you play their game better than them. And we're going to play the game better than them.
Right.
Harvard is going plant-based, and it's going to follow. You'll see a lot of the other
You
universities.
just saw what happened just the other day or this year. Golden Globes went vegan.
Yeah.
Oscars are going vegan.
Yeah.
Most of the athletic teams are looking at or going vegan. Before your time and my time here at Hippocrates, Muhammad Ali won 2 of his fights on this program. Venus Williams is on this program.
Yeah.
I mean, so, you know, the game is over. It's just a matter of time. Not that I am a fan of the Impossible Burger or the Beyond Burger, but it's a good step in the right direction.
Right. Yep.
So if you can go to McDonald's and eat something other than the meat, good.
Yes.
I'm personally so excited about the future of foods. Literally, with everything goes on right now in the world, I mean, we're in the right track.
Oh, yes.
So thank you so much, Anna and Brian, for being with us today. And I deeply appreciate all the work that you do, educating people on how to transform lives and how to, you know, prevent chronic conditions and, you know, just be and live a long life and healthy life. And, you know, you make such a positive and profound difference in the world. Thank you for that.
Well, you're welcome. Anyone
Thank
that's
you.
listening to us today that needs help and feels hopeless and that doctors are telling you there's nothing you can do, or family members or friends, contact us. This is what we do here.
Yeah.
We're here to be the light in the world where there's a lot of darkness and a lot of deception. You know, I don't even think it's dishonesty. I just think that people are so lost and so confused. They have a hopelessness about them. God bless you. Keep up your work. We love you.
And for all of you, we also have a magazine, Heal Our World, that comes out 4 times a year. You can go digital, look up under Hippocrates Health Institute.
Give the website.
Yeah, you can.
So it's Hippocrates Institute or hippocratesinst.org. So it's HIPPOCRATESINST. So Hippocrates INST.org. Be well. Talk to you soon.
Thank you so much. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you for watching us today. Stay healthy. I'm your host, Angelina Kardash, and thank you for watching us.